Where do we come from? Probably the most fundamental question that we humans ask. Were we created? Did we evolve? There's no conclusive proof for either of those options. Or is there? In this video, I'm going to be discussing human existence. Was it by accident or design? Let's get right in.
Hi guys, how you doing? Now when you look at nature and all the wonderful things that are happening, especially at this time of year with spring, coming up to Easter, it's a time of fertility, it's a time of rebirth. And when you see that the trees are starting to bud, and some have already been that way for a while, been like that all year round, flowers are out and all kinds of things like this, you start to wonder, did this really happen by chance? Or was evolution involved in any way, shape or form, or were they created like this? And that's the topic of this video, is my views on evolution and creation, in that sense, as far as we as humans are concerned. And the easy answer for me, when I look at these daffodils and things like this, anything in nature, it's both. They were both created and they have evolved, because these daffodils didn't originate here. They were planted here years ago and they've adapted to their environment. And it's the same with a lot of plants and trees and insect life and animals and so on. They were, let's say, originally created or evolved. By created, I mean the process was set in motion. And, at that time, the processes kicked in and they started to evolve into what they are today, and perhaps some of them are actually continuing to evolve. What then about us humans? What is the story there? Well, the story there, as far as we humans are concerned, we were also both created and we have also evolved, although the evolution part of that story hasn't actually been proved yet. There's a line of ancestry, like a family tree of possible ancestors as far as we humans are concerned, but there are no definitive lines connecting us to those other species of human, because we ourselves, the anatomically modern humans as we are called today, suddenly appeared as we are today some 200,000 years ago, and we haven't changed in all that time. We have a 50% larger brain capacity than our fellow human species of the time, our contemporaries. We're the dominant species, if you want to go from the primate side of things, and yet we haven't changed at all in all that time. Yet other animals and insects and fish and plants and everything have evolved in that time. The only slight changes I would say that we have made is maybe more down to lifestyle. Like, for example, in the 17th and 16th century, we perhaps looked a bit more podgy in the face. We probably carried a bit more weight than we should have done. And that's not too dissimilar to today, really, in that sense. But essentially, we have stayed the same in that time period. And our closest relatives, as in the chimpanzees, they have 98% of our DNA, yet they look nothing like us, really. And you may say, there's some people who have certain features that are similar to the primates. Yes, but there are also some others who have similar features to other animals. So, I don't count that as evidence. Yet, the surprising thing is, when it comes to the chromosomes, we have 46. That's 23X and 23Y, male-female chromosomes. the chimpanzees have 2 extra chromosomes. They have 48. So if they are so close to us, DNA-wise, where are the extra chromosomes that we should have? Well, in more recent times, I think it was in the 80s into the 90s, researchers, the scientists and stuff, they found that those 2 chromosomes that the chimpanzees have, we do have them, but they've been fused into one single chromosome, which enables us to have that 50% extra brain capacity. It enables us to have complex language, reasoning, thinking, creative ability, and all the rest of it. It gave us that edge. So that then leads on to the idea of creation, does it not? Because what's inferred there is that at some point a human species was genetically manipulated. And if you take the Abrahamic text, like in the Genesis, for example, where the Creator is recorded to have said, "Let us make them in our image," well then, that does, for me, lead on to the idea of creation in the sense of that we were no accident of evolution. Other species may have evolved over time. The Neanderthals, for example, are related to a degree, but they were contemporaries with us during that 200,000 year history that we have. So they are not our ancestors, and they looked somewhat different to us. So when I read that scripture or think about that particular line of reasoning, I can't help but think that we were created by entities, by other civilizations, by someone perhaps off-world, in their image. And that says to me, because we were created in their image and they were creators, we are also creators. We are co-creators. That means that with God, Source, the I Am, whatever you want to call it, that's up to you, we are co-creators with the Creator. Now obviously the Creator is the ultimate source of all that, but we also are co-creators. And that means we also create our reality. And what do I mean by that? Everything we see around, when we have a look around, we create it just by looking at it. Oh, the energy's still there. The energy of the trees, the bushes, the birds and everything is still there. But when we take our focus off them, they disappear. But they remain there energy-wise. When we give them attention, they come into our reality. And that also leads on to how we are in our lives, because we create the life that we lead. We create everything that we look at. We create everything that we feel. For example, how often has it happened when it comes on the news? Oh, the high pollen levels are up. And all of a sudden, people start sneezing that weren't sneezing the day before. So that triggers a response in our subconscious minds. Oh, you're allergic to pollen. You best start sneezing, have runny eyes and nose and feel miserable. So we create that because we choose to accept it. The same with aches and pains and perhaps other diseases as well. And I can't say for certain that is the case, but in my mind, in some way, we attract that. Therefore, we also create those aches and pains because we accept as truth the negativity that our subconscious minds, that our environment is putting into us on a daily basis, constantly in some ways. It's a difficult conundrum. You know, when you think of those with cancer and other life-threatening illnesses, have they attracted that? Have they created that? And perhaps some cases that is true because of the lifestyle choices. You know, they chose a way of living which perhaps enhanced their attraction in that sense. They knew what the possible results of their lifestyle choices would bring. So yeah, that can happen, but in other cases perhaps not. It's a very difficult one, and it's what I'm still trying to ponder. Yet the fact of the matter is, I do believe as co-creators we can also create a much better environment, a much better life for ourselves than we perhaps currently have. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to have your comments. So please leave them below and let me know how you feel about it, and perhaps we can start a bit of a discussion about it. So that's it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. So until next time, bye bye.